A doctor reveals insurance companies want you to die as quickly as possible. Let's check this out.
I just finished dealing with an insurance thing at work, and I thought this was a good time to remind everybody that health insurance companies don't care about you.
Gotta agree with that one.
They don't care. United, Aetna, Cigna, Blue Cross, all of them. They don't care about you. They want to extract as much money as possible from your healthy body. Then, when you're no longer healthy, they want you to die as quickly as possible to make room for other money producing bodies. So, have a great day. Hey, everybody.
That's that's a pretty brutal way to put it. So this doctor has lost his patience with the US healthcare system. One doctor has gone viral on TikTok after revealing the ugly truth that most health insurance companies allegedly want you to die as quickly as possible. The TikTok was posted Thursday and had racked up nearly 1 million views. Healthcare companies don't care about you, said Dr. Glaucom Flecken grimly. They don't care. And he lists off several insurance companies, including United Healthcare, Aetna, Cigna, and Blue Cross, as the main guilty ones. They want to extract as much money as possible from your healthy body, continued the doctor. Then, when you're no longer healthy, they want you to die as quickly as possible to make room for other money producing bodies. So, have a great day. And this is something that a lot of people may not be aware of, but there's also a money making scheme that is completely legitimate that insurance companies tried to block because it meant that they would still have to pay out. And so, what I'm talking about is that there's something called, I forget how you pronounce it, but it's basically verse something settlements. Hold on, let me try to look this up. Settlements, life insurance. Let's see. Investing into settlements. Let's see. There's a specific. Hmm, there's a specific word for it. A life settlement is the legal sale of an existing life insurance policy, typically of seniors, for more than its cash surrender value, but less than its net death benefit to a third party investor. The investor assumes the financial responsibility for ongoing premiums and receives the death benefit when the insured dies. So, for example, let's say that your mom or your dad has a insurance policy, or someone's mom or dad has like that type of policy, and they know that they probably are not going to be like living that long, but they basically ran out of money, or they need money quickly for whatever reason, and they don't really have a way to make a good amount of money quickly. Well, if they, for example, have like a life insurance policy with a death payment, death payout basically, of like $1 million, but the cash surrender value is only like 300 grand, someone could basically just pay them a little bit more than that. So instead of 300 grand, 350 grand, and that person will get it. But the person who paid them that 350 also has to pay the life insurance premium, which whoever knows that, like whatever price that might be, until that person basically dies. And then once that person dies, the investor gets paid the $1 million and then potentially take the profit. Now, it's a very dark way to make money. It's completely legal, but it's a pretty dark way. And insurance companies basically try to prevent this from ever happening because they did not want to pay out the money because they obviously want to keep their costs low. Even though they signed an agreement basically for these policies for the individuals. So insurance companies really don't care about you. They really just see you as like a number. That's all they really see. So people need to keep that in mind. Let's see. Dr. Glaucom Flecken's comments come as health insurance companies raked in a massive profit during the COVID 19 pandemic, which caused policy prices to soar drastically. Now, again, specifically, I just talked about like life insurance policies, but health insurance policies is so crazy because it's like you are basically paying an arm and a leg every single month for nothing, and then when something actually happens to you, you simply can't really afford it. It's like a crazy thing. Let's see. So, in addition, federal law requires hospitals and insurance companies to provide patients with the details of how much they are being charged. Now, this is the funny thing too, because sometimes, from what I've heard, that you actually have to specifically ask them for a detailed bill list. Otherwise, they might just put in some really fake numbers, or they might try to hide the fact that they basically charged like $100 for like an Advil. So insurers want to make sure they are negotiating the best deals they can for their members to make sure their products have competitive premiums, said Chief Executive of Americans Health Insurance Plans, Matt Iles, to the New York Times. The Post reached out to Dr. Glaucom Flecken for comment. I gotta say, his name is crazy. Several of the doc's commenters agreed with him. I work in oncology. You 100% corrected one user. As someone who works in the health insurance verification, yes, said another. The longer I'm in medicine, the more apparent this truth is, a third person said. So let's see some of these comments. Yes, but it's not because they are greedy. The insurance companies are concerned about overpopulation and climate change. Dying reduces your carbon footprint to zero. That's a pretty messed up way to view it. Take the profit motive out of health insurance and watch the cost for healthcare drop. The real crime is the filthy, dangerous conditions staffing and treatment in nursing homes, hospitals, and medical centers, where every corner of this country has been turned into third world. Is so unbelievable, no one cares anymore about anything. Let's see, our entire healthcare system is abysmal, so one person and the other person responded saying, but in socialized medicine countries like Canada, people can actually die waiting for a routine test that we can get in one day, and they have to wait a year and a half, so that is definitely not the answer. Like, wait, hold on. The doctor does not mention that hospitals, doctors, and nurses will string out a terminally ill person's life to extract as much money as possible from the government and insurance companies, using the patient as a human cash register. Now, that is an extremely, extremely dark point. And at the same time, my 94-year-old mother has a doctor that is trying to totally empty her bank account before she dies. So right now it is the insurance company versus the doctor, with mom being the loser. Like, the way I kind of view it, there's not really a good option, but I would probably lean more towards paying for a health insurance where you pay out of pocket for pretty much almost everything except for catastrophic type of stuff. Meaning, like, you get cancer, you get pretty much terminally ill, or whatever. Like, basically, you get probably the worst of the worst, where it'd be impossible for you to actually make the money to pay for it. I would probably lean more towards trying to get a health insurance kind of like that. But that's going to be pretty hard. And maybe you're going to end up having to go to a different country for a specific surgery and just pay cash out of it. The problem is, like, from what I've seen, socialized medicine isn't efficient enough to handle people's like needs right away. Which that one comment said that where you could basically pass away for a routine thing, or basically the doctors in those systems basically won't even allow you to request stuff. I remember there's this one fitness guy that I like watching all the time called More Place More Dates, and he created his medical company, basically blood work company, testosterone clinic, all that kind of stuff, right? Because he was having so many issues in Canada just simply trying to get blood work. They're like the most basic foundational benchmarks to figure out how healthy you are, where you could basically improve your life, all that kind of stuff in terms of health. And he couldn't even really get the blood work that he needed, or basically he'd be basically ridiculed or basically talking down to by some people, by some of the doctors, because like, oh, who are you to basically tell me what you want done? Which to me is kind of like a crazy thing, like, because if you want something done medically and you're paying for it, the service, you should be able to get what you want done. Obviously, not to like the detriment of the person, but within reason. Like, it's just crazy. Okay, sure, but think of it this way: the people who run these insurance companies are whip smart and they manage to figure out a system that converts our health and lives into huge profits. If you don't like that, you're free to avoid the doc, or better yet, start your own insurance company. Still beats communism, am I right, boys? Interesting. Now, what I find interesting is like insurance is probably one of the best businesses to actually get into when you really think about it. Because your whole scheme is basically collecting money for air, for basically nothing, right? And you basically try everything in your power to not pay people. Or at the very least, you get so many people paying you every single month for nothing that they might not even have like an issue if you do basically the acquiring of these like individuals right. If you gauge it right, then like 99% of them won't really have anything wrong with them for a very long time, and maybe one or two might have like a catastrophic thing, and then maybe one of the two would actually have to be something where you end up being forced to pay. So in terms of like how much profit you can end up making, insurance makes the most sense in terms of like a business thing, because like you're basically getting paid infinite money for basically nothing in a recurring way. So imagine if you're making like $5 million every single month, and it's going to go to 6 million every single month, then 7 million every single month, then 10 million every single month, and it just keeps compounding and compounding and compounding. That's basically what insurance companies are. So, yep, this is absolutely true. People should also consider that their treatments are not based on what is best for them, but what is most billable. And it's not just the insurance companies that you have to worry about. The government also wants you dead once you can't generate income for them. Interesting. Let's see. A friend of mine was in med school to be a radiologist. He looked forward to making 400K a year, he said. Reading x rays from home in my underwear. Healthcare costs so much because doctors and hospitals are paid too much. Most insurance companies are administering a corporation's benefit plans. Corps decide what they want to cover, and the insurance company is administering the plan. but keep beating up the insurance company's doctor. Interesting. Feel free to give your thoughts. One thing's for sure, try to minimize your health costs as much as possible. Take care of yourself because, like, if you're trying your best to be healthy, to minimize the amount of time potentially that you have to spend in a hospital, financially speaking, you're going to be okay. Because one of the quickest ways to basically lose all of your money is one, not having health insurance, and two, being administered to the hospital in basically any situation because you could be really screwed by medical bills, especially if you get them at a time when you simply cannot afford to get them.